Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm just excited to show you what I've been working on for the past week. And that is my new working counter space in my 2013 Ford Transit Connect. I will show you the process to ripping out the old countertop and getting rid of a kitchen sink and a gray water tank and a freshwater tank. Things that I just could not use, that were cutting into counter space, that were cutting into cabinet space. And so I needed a new counter and a new workspace. This will be a video that will show you the process. This is also a good time for me to talk about these types of videos that I've been sharing. For me, I'm the type of person that needs to feel comfortable. I very much want to feel comfortable first in the moment, versus and then I can actually do something. I don't know where that comes from. I'm a second child. I'm sure somebody out there can actually explain this to me. But it is what it is. So I do have to feel comfortable, and I do go to great lengths to try to be comfortable, try to plan ahead of time. I do have some aviation background as well, so there was a lot of contingency plans that you would account for being a pilot, all for safety. And so I believe that kind of has influenced me. That piece definitely has influenced me pretty heavily, or paired nicely with my issues as a youth, from my youth. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I have to plan, I have to coordinate, I have to have everything somewhat perfect, and then I can actually act on it. It doesn't really work for photography, I can tell you that right now. It's very difficult. You need to get out, you need to shoot, you need to put yourself into uncomfortable situations. This I understand, this I know. But I just can't, there's certain things that I just can't do. So all that being said, this is a space that I wanted to feel comfortable in. I wanted to be able to take this support vehicle. I'm not going to be living in this van, so I wanted to take this support vehicle to locations and be able to feel comfortable. It has to serve a purpose. It has to support me. It can't feel as though it's uncomfortable. That just didn't seem to work. Every time I would stay in it for any particular amount of time, I just didn't feel that comfortable in it. So some things needed to change so that I could feel comfortable, and then I just feel better about it. And that's one of these things. So out with the old, in with the new. I'm going to show you the process here on the video. This is just talking briefly about this. This is a 2x4 butcher's block countertop. And on the backsplash, there's 1x4 pine that's painted white, and then a little bit of 1/4-inch plywood on the back. There's some 1x4 pine finish on the front, and the sides have the plywood as well. But again, while somewhat aesthetically pleasing, because of course I do like that, but it's not focused on that. This is very functional for me. This is exactly what I wanted to have. It's just something functional. A lot of the storage spaces were measured to fit bottles of water, or cans of water, I should say. If not that, they were designed around my new EcoFlow battery cell, the Delta 2 Max, that I'm very excited to have. Once again, not sponsored by anybody for this type of stuff, but after doing some research, and the 2,000 kilowatt hour battery cell, that was my go-to. Very excited to have that now, so I'll be showing you that in the video. But yeah, so as far as space-wise, I wanted it so that it could hold certain items. I actually lucked out at one point. I measured this. I think I could fit my camera bag in here, my new camera bag in there too. So that'll be a bonus if that works out. But just talking about this process briefly of this countertop, as far as making, this is something that I wanted to have that'll make me comfortable in the field. I think going forward, for me, for this van, again being a support vehicle, I envision myself having like a laptop at some point, being able to maybe mobile edit, and then of course, based upon town to town, I do love to support local businesses, so I could very much see myself supporting a local coffee shop or cafe that has access to Wi-Fi, and I can do some editing on a laptop, and then be able to share those edits either on social media or even be able to upload those to my website as a final product for individuals to be able to purchase. So that's the goal. And again, I wanted to feel comfortable. This is just something that I had to have, right? So going back and talking about the previous versus where we are and showing you the process. It had the previous countertop. Again, it had the sink, and it had the freshwater tanks in it. And then the space-wise, I was able to cut out about 1.5 inches of space, or giving myself 1.5 inches of space where my feet are currently. And so now what I can do is I can face the counter very comfortably and work on it if I need to with a laptop, which I will be. Hopefully, fingers crossed, right? So that space right there is gigantic, and opens up just being more comfortable. The other thing that I gained is underneath this side of the countertop over here, I gained about 1 foot in space and the depth, which is 2 feet. So all of that space, I now have to extend my legs underneath. I had a little bit of space in front of the counter, excuse me, to be able to do that. But that area was about 1.5 feet or 2 feet by 2 feet. And usually, of course, that would hold, I have like an emergency toilet. I have the backpack gear. I might have a cooler, things like that. So once all that was in that space, you had no leg room to stretch out whatsoever. The only leg room you had to be able to stretch out then is if you get outside the van, which, of course, yeah, there's plenty. But again, being comfortable in the van is important, right? What if it's raining? Well, what if it's cold? What if it's too hot? What all these other variables, right? So being able to give myself an additional 1x2 is huge. Now I'll be able to, if I wanted to, I can still put the emergency toilet in that same space. I can put my camera bag in that same space. I might be able to use a bungee cord wrapped around there. Hold all that underneath cooler, possibly, as far as width, probably. Will fit right underneath that space. I can probably bungee cord that and still be able to stretch my legs. So the countertop space that I gained, as well as gaining foot space underneath by removing the old countertop, has been absolutely amazing. Some of the features that I added or wanted to add with this, or made sure that I had that were existing on the van. This 2013 Ford Transit Connect, this van had shore power that was already included in the van, already built in. So I wanted to keep that functionality for the simple fact that if I'm out and about, and if there's a campsite that I can get to that has either full hookup or power, I wanted to be able to use that functionality. So I can now connect to shore power, and there's an outlet underneath here that is just wired up and over to the shore power that provides 110. I could use that to recharge my EcoFlow battery. So in a matter of 4 hours, I'll have a full charge, which, as far as my usage right now, that battery could probably last me a week in the field without having to be charged. Future tests will show that. I'll probably share some of those videos with that too. But that functionality I wanted to have for sure. In the wintertime in Phoenix, I can use that at home. I can drive the car back home, and I can plug it into shore power at home, and I can leave the EcoFlow inside the van. Summertime is a little too hot. I don't want to push the temperatures on that EcoFlow. I think it'll exceed what the manufacturer suggests, especially in this van, without any air conditioning. So I'm not going to do that, obviously, in the summertime. But in the wintertime, for functionality, it'll help, right? So very much wanted to keep that. And I wanted to add outlets. So with that EcoFlow power cell, it has, I think, 6 outlets on the back of the unit. And I've seen some things online where, and this is what I did here, is I just took extension cords and I just cut the end off, spliced the wires in, following the same cable, the same wires. So I kept the wires exactly the same, and which one was the larger one, which one was the smaller one, one for the common wire, one for the power, and wired them accordingly. And so using 2 extension cords on the back of that and wiring right to that box, I now have the 2 outlets up here. Now, both of these, of course, are connected into one. So I probably can overload the circuit, which I will just have to be careful and just have one item in here, which, again, I don't foresee as a gigantic problem because I'm not charging that many things, nor am I in that big of a rush that I need to plug in a million things all at once. And I still have access, of course, with some extension cords or the power cables that come with any unit that I'm trying to charge, to go ahead and just bypass these and go right down underneath and still access the EcoFlow. So functionality-wise, I think that's great. I think I might or may put a little circle hole back here, but might cut a hole either here or over here. That'll give me access to the EcoFlow as well, in case of situations like that where I may want to drop a wire in and leave that plugged in, and then plug in my device over here. So I might add that. But as of right now, more field testing will have to happen before I feel comfortable doing something like that. I think this is going to be great for now. So I wanted to have that functionality for the power. I just recently picked up, as an example of usage, I picked up a 1.5 liter hot water, boiling hot water kettle, electric. So that's a 1500 watt unit, and that goes back to what I was talking about, where if I have that plugged in, I will only use one of these and not put anything else on that circuits, because I don't want to blow, of course, the EcoFlow or damage that, which has its own surge protectors in there as well. But it has I think it's a 2000 kilowatt, and I think the inverter in it is 2000 as well. Don't quote me on that, but I'll just be mindful of not overloading it while I'm using it. And that I've already tested the kettle out, and within 2 minutes that thing can boil water. So again, if I can wait 2 minutes before I put something else in these ports. So I'm sure it'll work out great. I'm excited for that. And then the future functionality of this will be to have potentially a laptop. I'll be able to charge that. I would like to edit photos potentially from the laptop. Makes me a little nervous right now because, of course, I might not be able to, or my fear is I might not be able to be so critical of the image, which you can be on a larger monitor. I'm sure I can solve for that. I'm sure maybe I'll find something that'll put my mind at ease. But I do feel as though I'm a little leery based upon the monitor size, but we'll cross that bridge later. That's the goal, though, is to have a laptop, shoot, of course, download, edit, all in the field. And then I like to support local businesses, which I think I've mentioned that before. If I haven't, that's what I'd like to do. So when I go to these small towns, again, this is what I like to do, traveling through small towns, supporting small businesses, small local businesses. I love the idea, and I've done it before I had all this. I stopped in a small town in Oregon, several small towns in Oregon and Washington State. And Oceanside, Oregon was one of the places, beautiful little area. And they had local cafes. And so I love the idea of just being able to shoot in that area, go to a small town, find a cafe. Generally, they offer Wi-Fi. I can sit there, open up a laptop, which I've already pre-charged in here, edit some photos, then be able to share those photos through social media and or upload those to my actual website and then have them available for sale. So these are the thoughts that I'm having as far as where I want to take the photography in the direction. So I'm hoping you'll join for that process. If you have any questions in regards to that process, let me know. If you have any tips or tricks, I would love to take those as well. We can discuss those. If you've had any success at that, other photographers out there. But that's what my goal is. My goal is to be somewhat self-sufficient out on the road in remote areas. I'll have the battery. I'll be able to shoot, recharge my batteries. The only thing I will really have to do at this point would be to stop at a grocery store a couple days, pick up some items, and then continue on. There may be, again, also in the future, there may be a room for an electric cooler, which I think would be really nice. I've looked into those units already, running off of the battery cell as well. Again, pre-charging before I left, so that would help. Those things look pretty neat, and just save on ice. Just save on buying ice and then discarding the water and carrying all that weight. Although the coolers are a little heavy, but again, functionality-wise and consistent performance is without the ice is something that I think is interesting and it would help for sure. So that, and then the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max offers solar. And I am extremely excited, living in Phoenix, Arizona, to upgrade the van at some point to have solar cells on the top, to be able to charge that battery cell as well. At that point, I should be able. I should never have to stop for power. I wouldn't imagine. For what I need, I have an electric blanket that I can't wait to try out in cooler temperatures, to see how much that draws. And again, the batteries. Future process of having a laptop, the future draw on that. All these things I'll be testing in the field to see how much they draw off the Delta 2 Max. But again, this is something I'm very, very, very excited about. The functionality, being able to be more comfortable in the van, it's very important. I guess that's what will be the theme of the video here. But if you have any questions in regards to the build, leave those in the comments below. I'll answer those as fast as I can. Behind this, there's some padding here, like some noise canceling padding. There is some stuffed-in insulation there. The previous owner had fiberglass insulation, which is a big no-no from what I understand, as far as a space like this, which makes sense. You don't want to be inhaling fiberglass shards while you're out in a van, right? So I cleaned all that out and replaced all that. Any areas that he had some fiberglass, he put some in the doors still, so I sealed that up really well because you can't get it all out. But yeah, extremely excited. Really, really excited about this. So again, this is, I promise, I'll be out in the field soon. I know this is like, if you watch my videos, I think I've been in the field maybe once. And I keep tacking on these projects just so that I can feel comfortable before I go. Again, going back to the beginning of this video. But the only thing that I think I need, don't laugh, but I think I need tires. I know I need tires. These tires are from 2017 that are on the van right now. And so I definitely need tires next. However, that should be the end of it. As far as, what do they call that? It's not constructive procrastinating, but anyway. I once I get those tires, this thing's gonna be ready to go. So we'll be out there in the field. I promise more shots in the field. If since this is a relatively new channel and starting out too, if there's something you're interested in seeing, if there's a process or what you would be interested in watching, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Right now, I'm just trying to share what I'm going through as I'm starting in this photography business like full time and doing what I need to do so that I feel comfortable, so that I can be on the road, so that I can take pictures, so that I can share pictures, right? So, and then hopefully, build name recognition and be successful at it. So if there's something in this process that you'd like to know, leave me that in the comment. I'd very much love to hear from you. Again, I'm just trying to think of what I can share that would give you some insight as to the backstory. Everybody sees the photos, but they don't really know, or they don't really show too much of the backstory. Some of the videos so far that I have shared, the idea of the actual photo shoot section or time frame of the video was to try to show the transition of the sky or the light during the moment of the shots. I'll have to work on that, I think, a little bit more to get the right shot. But let me know if that's even something that's interesting to you. I thought it would be. But anyway, at this point, thank you very much for watching. And thanks for joining the journey. Again, probably just a set of tires, and then we'll be out on the road shooting pretty soon. So any questions, let me know. And again, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Have a good day.